Look, I'll be honest with you. What I'm going to teach you in the next 15 minutes will radically change your outlook on every human interaction for the rest of your life. Your father didn't teach you this. Your teachers certainly didn't. And most men will go to their graves without understanding these principles. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli wrote down the most dangerous truths about human nature ever documented. Truths so disturbing that the Catholic Church banned his book. Truths so powerful that every world leader studies them in secret while publicly condemning them. If you find value in these hidden lessons, make sure you subscribe to Machiavelli's Code, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every interaction tells me you're ready for deeper truths, and I promise what's coming next will be even darker, sharper, and more powerful. 1. People aren't rational. They're emotional machines. Your first mistake is believing men act like calculators. They don't. You imagine people weighing options carefully, analyzing costs and benefits, choosing the best path forward. That's not reality. People decide with images, with shortcuts, with pride, with pain. They act on what soothes their ego or spares them discomfort, not what leads to truth or long-term gain. Machiavelli wrote it centuries ago. Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. In plain English, we are moved more by appearances than by reality. We react to what looks right, not what is right. You've seen this everywhere. The friend who insists he wants to save money yet buys every gadget that gives him a 5-second thrill. The coworker who rants about being overworked but refuses to change because complaining feels safer than risking something new. The woman who says she wants a stable man but chases the excitement of chaos instead. These aren't isolated cases. They are the rule. Facts don't move people. Feelings do. That's why arguments fail so often. You can present a mountain of logic, charts, and evidence, and still watch the other person dig their heels in. Not because your facts are wrong, but because they threaten an emotion. They clash with pride. They demand discomfort. And humans will choose the comfort of an illusion over the sharpness of truth almost every time. So how do you use this? Stop treating logic like a hammer that forces people to bend. Influence doesn't live in facts. It lives in the stories someone tells themselves about those facts. If you want to lead, persuade, or inspire, you must shape the story, not the spreadsheet. Want that raise? Don't just tell your boss how much money you've made the company. Paint the image of how giving you more authority makes him look like a visionary leader who backs winners. Appeal to his pride, not just his budget. Want someone to trust you? Don't lecture them about why you're reliable. Instead, treat them in ways that make them feel respected, seen, and valued. Trust is rarely a product of logic. It's an emotional contract. People trust when they feel safe, not when they're convinced by evidence. Here's the key distinction most men never grasp. This isn't manipulation if what you're pushing aligns with truth. It's strategy. A surgeon doesn't apologize for using anesthesia before the cut. He knows the patient needs the operation, but the human mind can't endure it raw. In the same way, truth often needs the packaging of emotion to be accepted. If you skip that step, your truth will be rejected, not because it's false, but because it's painful. The world does not reward the man who shouts facts into the void. It rewards the man who understands how humans actually think and then moves with that reality. Influence is not about being the smartest. It's about being the clearest mirror of what people already want to see. Machiavelli understood something most men still resist admitting. Clarity about human nature makes you powerful. Ignorance makes you weak. Pretending that people are purely rational doesn't make you virtuous. It makes you blind. And blindness in a world full of predators is nothing but an invitation to be devoured. So remember this: you will never outlogic someone's pride, insecurity, or fear, but you can redirect it, frame it, and guide it. Learn to speak the language of feelings while keeping your mind rooted in truth. That's not cynicism, that's survival. And the man who survives long enough wins. 2. Loyalty without reciprocity is weakness. You've been sold a myth since childhood. Be loyal no matter what, and loyalty will protect you. Fairy tales, movies, even your parents told you that loyalty is always noble, always rewarded. But look closer. That myth is the currency of fools. It keeps people obedient while others exploit them. Machiavelli knew the truth centuries ago. Loyalty is not unconditional. It is a transaction, a contract, and when it isn't mutual, it becomes a weapon, sometimes used by others against you, sometimes used by you against them. He said it plainly. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. He wasn't celebrating cruelty. He was teaching reality. Love is fragile. Love is emotional. Love fades the moment conditions change. But fear, not terror but respectful caution, creates boundaries. Controlled fear says, I am not to be walked on. Betray me, and you'll regret it. That type of fear protects what blind loyalty cannot. You see the evidence around you every day. The friend who gives and gives, always available, always sacrificing, until people don't even thank him anymore. He's not respected. He's used. The company that preaches, "We're a family," in glossy ads, then lays off hundreds overnight. They demand loyalty, but give none. The partner who says she wants your commitment, but quietly keeps her options open. She's loyal only as long as it benefits her. And what happens to the blind loyalist? He calls it honor, but the world calls it weakness. He bleeds for others who wouldn't even lift a finger for him. And when he finally breaks, people aren't grateful. They just look for another fool to replace him. So what do? You redefine loyalty. You stop treating it as a permanent vow and start treating it as a contract with terms. Be generous, yes. Be reliable, yes. But test people. See if they reciprocate. Watch how they act when it costs them something. Do they stand with you or do they vanish? Do they give back or do they only take? When you see the truth, act on it. Withdraw your support calmly, without drama, the moment reciprocity ends. That's not being bitter. That's being sane. It's protection. It's self-respect. Here's the paradox most men never grasp. Loyalty becomes more valuable when it is conditional. If everyone can have it for free, it's worthless. But when people know your loyalty must be earned and can be lost, they treat it like gold. They fight to keep it. They respect it. They protect it. Look at the strongest men in history, the leaders who built empires, the generals who inspired armies. They were not blindly loyal. They were strategically loyal. They knew when to bind themselves to an ally and when to break free. They gave trust slowly, and they withdrew it quickly when betrayed. That wasn't pettiness. That was wisdom. So here's your lesson. Don't be the man who wears loyalty like a chain around his neck. Be the man who offers it like a weapon, sharp, precise, and only placed in the hands of those who prove themselves worthy. Because in the end, a man who gives loyalty where it isn't returned isn't noble. He's a fool. And fools aren't remembered for their honor. They're remembered for how easily they were used. 3. Perception is the operating system. You think being real means showing everything, every feeling, every weakness, every private thought. as if complete exposure makes you authentic. That's naive. The world doesn't reward raw exposure. It rewards controlled presence. People don't see your full self. They see the version you present, and they judge you based on that version, whether you like it or not. Reputation is not vanity. It's strategy. It is the currency you trade in every interaction. A strong reputation protects you before you even open your mouth. A weak one undermines you before you get a chance to explain yourself. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. Perception often matters more than reality. Men may act in private, but they decide in public based on what appears true. Think about it. The coworker who constantly vents about stress. Does anyone take him seriously when he's up for promotion? The friend who overshares his problems, does he inspire respect, or does he drain the room? On the other hand, the man who carries himself with calm consistency, who shares just enough to show he's human, but never enough to look fragile, he earns trust, curiosity, and authority. People lean in to hear him, not out of pity, but out of respect. If you want power, you must curate what others see, not by lying, but by disciplining yourself. There's a difference between dishonesty and self-control. Dishonesty is fabricating a false life. Discipline is choosing which parts of yourself deserve the spotlight. Show competence, not desperation. Show calm, not chaos. Be present, but not always available. Scarcity creates value. If everyone can reach you all the time, you become ordinary. This doesn't mean being fake. It means being deliberate. You don't need to broadcast your struggles to be real. You need to show you can face them. People admire solutions, not endless complaints. They want to see strength under fire, not panic in the flames. Here's a practical shift. If you want to be taken seriously at work, stop airing frustrations in front of everyone. Bring solutions to those who can fix them and keep your public face steady. If you want to be respected socially, become the man of consistency and quiet strength. Be predictable in your principles, but unpredictable in your expressions. Let people know what you stand for, but never let them predict your every move. That touch of mystery amplifies your presence. Reputation is fragile. It takes years to build and seconds to destroy. Treat it like a weapon, sharp, dangerous, and always in your control. If someone damages it with lies, move quickly to repair it. If you damage it yourself through weakness, own it, fix it, and re-establish boundaries. Never let your reputation drift unattended. Because here's the brutal truth. In human affairs, reputation bends reality. If people believe you're competent, they will trust you before they see the evidence. If they believe you're unreliable, no amount of begging will change their minds. Perception is a filter, and once it's formed, it shapes everything else. Machiavelli knew the power of this. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are." That's not a call to deception. It's a warning. People will judge you based on appearance, whether you want them to or not. The wise man accepts this and manages it. The fool ignores it and pays the price. So guard your reputation. Shape it intentionally. Repair it quickly when it cracks. And above all, remember this. When you control what others see, you don't just influence their opinions. You bend reality itself. 4. Prepare for war in peacetime. The worst mistake a man can make is to start preparing when the storm is already here. By then, it's too late. Conflict doesn't send a calendar invite. It arrives unannounced. In betrayal, in competition, in temptation, in sudden loss. The man who waits until crisis to learn resilience is already defeated. Machiavelli's wisdom is ruthless but clear. A leader must be both lion and fox. The lion has the strength to frighten predators. The fox has the cunning to spot traps. If you lack one, the world will expose it. Rely only on strength, and you'll be tricked. Rely only on cunning, and you'll be crushed. Balance makes you unshakable. Preparation isn't just about lifting weights or stacking money. It's the quiet discipline of sharpening yourself when no one is watching. It's training your mind to stay calm under pressure so that panic never makes your decisions for you. It's saving when times are good, not when the debt collector is at your door. It's building allies when you don't need them, so when the day comes, you're not standing alone. Look at history. Armies that trained only in peace often shattered in war. Leaders who trusted in luck fell the moment fortune turned. Even in your own life you've seen this. The coworker who waits until he's fired to start learning new skills. The friend who only thinks about saving after the bills bury him. The man who only starts valuing his health after the doctor delivers bad news. They react instead of prepare. And reaction, most of the time, is desperation disguised as effort. So what does preparation look like in the modern world? It's building financial reserves so you can walk away from disrespect. It's developing competence so no employer or partner thinks you're replaceable. It's learning to detach emotionally so no betrayal shatters you. It's setting boundaries long before they're tested. Preparation is not paranoia. It is insurance. It is freedom. Understand this. Readiness is not aggression. Being prepared does not mean you live in constant battle. In fact, most fights never even happen when you're truly prepared. Predators look for easy prey. They don't go after the man who carries himself with calm confidence, the one who doesn't flinch, the one who is quietly unshakable. They look for the careless, the weak, the distracted. That's why readiness is the true deterrent. You don't need to fight every day. You just need to be unassailable enough that others choose to test someone else. And when the rare fight does come, whether it's financial, emotional, or social, you will not be the one scrambling for strength you never built. You will already have it. The best time to prepare is not when you've been betrayed, not when you've been fired, not when you've been abandoned. The best time is when things are calm, when fortune still smiles on you. That's when discipline matters most. Train when you don't need it, so when the need comes, you don't have to train. You simply act. This isn't about glorifying violence. It's about realism. The world is not fair. People will test you, life will push you, and fortune will shift. But if you live ready, with strength like the lion and cunning like the fox, you won't just survive. You'll stand so firm that chaos itself bends around you, because the man who is prepared doesn't just endure the storm, he becomes the storm. 5. Strength and goodness are not opposites. Here's the lie you were fed. Kindness equals weakness, that if you are generous, patient, or merciful, you'll be walked on. That kindness makes you soft. This is wrong. Dangerously wrong. Machiavelli himself never said kindness was weakness. What he warned against was being careless with it. Misapplied kindness becomes gullibility. But controlled kindness, that is strength. Think about it. The man who snaps at every insult isn't strong. He's fragile. The leader who needs fear at every turn isn't powerful. He's insecure. True moral strength is not the absence of kindness, but the ability to give it when it matters, and to withdraw it when it doesn't. People confuse being nice with being good. Nice is the avoidance of tension. Nice is nodding along to things you disagree with. Nice is giving until you are empty, then resenting others for taking. But good is different. Good requires backbone. Good means doing the right thing even when it costs you. Good means confronting what needs to be confronted, even when it is uncomfortable. A nice man buries the hard conversation because he fears rejection. A good man has it because he values truth. A nice leader lets decay spread in silence to avoid upsetting anyone. A good leader makes hard sacrifices that protect the group even if he's hated for it. A nice friend says yes to every request until he collapses. A good friend sets boundaries so his yes has meaning. Kindness without strength is exploitation waiting to happen. Strength without kindness is tyranny. But the combination of the two? That's rare. And because it's rare, it's magnetic. People trust a man who can be fair but firm, generous but not gullible, compassionate but never naive. Here's the paradox. Only a strong man can truly be kind. Weak men are forced into niceness because they fear consequences. Strong men can choose kindness because they know they are not at risk. Mercy only has meaning when you also have the power to withhold it. So what does this mean for you? It means stop trying to be universally liked. That is the road to weakness. Instead, be respected. Respect comes from steadiness, from showing that your kindness has purpose, that it is not free to be exploited. Show mercy when it's earned. Withdraw it when it's abused. Be decisive, even if that decision makes you unpopular. History remembers men who carried both the lion and the lamb inside them, the capacity for ferocity, tempered by the discipline of mercy. Marcus Aurelius could lead armies and yet write about gentleness. Machiavelli could counsel ruthlessness, but also valued fairness when it served stability. Both understood the truth. Power without goodness corrupts, but goodness without power crumbles. Kindness is not weakness. It is proof of your control. Weakness reacts. Strength chooses. And when you are strong enough to choose kindness deliberately, it carries weight. People listen when you speak. They follow when you lead. They trust because they sense you cannot be forced. You can only be persuaded. So don't abandon kindness. Refine it. Sharpen it into something rare. Because in a world where most people are either too soft or too hard, the man who masters both will stand out like fire in the dark. Be strong enough to be kind on purpose. Be steady enough to be merciful when mercy is earned. Be decisive enough to act when it is not. That balance is power. That balance is respect. And that balance is unforgettable. So there you go. 5 truths that will change how you move through rooms, relationships, and careers. Remember, this is not about becoming some cynical monster. It's about removing the blinders so you can act with clarity. Ignorance of human nature is a moral hazard. Knowing it gives you responsibility. If this struck a nerve, subscribe. I'll show you how to take these ideas and build daily habits around them. Not to dominate others, but to become unshakable yourself. I probably shouldn't have taught you this. But here we are. If you want the next video, how to make people desperate to earn your approval, and why you should rarely give it, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Don't watch it if you're not ready to look at people honestly.